by SERP, mainly by
Sorry for interruption, sir. Shifali ma'am, Funda, sir, this is a serial number 1 project, SSG bank linkage.
This is serial number one. Not two, huh? Okay.
Yeah, serial number 1, SSG bank linkage project.
SERP is committed to eliminate poverty by bringing all rural poor together, essentially by building groups of SHG women. And for the last 20 years, that is 2 decades, AP state has been a pioneer in this regard. And more than now today, there are many SHG groups, lakhs of SHG groups, and that have been formed. And we are having presently more than 8.6 lakh groups that are there formed with the rural women. And the main success has been in empowering these women, both socially and economically. The social empowerment has happened by forming these groups and by creating a lot of awareness activities, by making them aware of their rights and activities that are there under NRLM, like FNHW and gender and all those activities. And by economic empowerment has been achieved by making the bank credit accessible to these women. And if it can be seen, it has been a steady progress. And the decade of 2000 was the rural women and the rural sector was plagued by the menace of microfinancing institutions that had been lending rural poor at a very high rates of interest. And this had a lot of impact on these income levels of the poor, and it was also impacting the growth. And once SERP started making these women access bank credit easier, we have been able to achieve a great empowerment of these women. So I would just run through this. What is the need for financial inclusion? This access is essential prerequisite for poverty reduction and sustainable development. And the problems that were there in the past, like as I said, multiple policies were being implemented by promoting access. However, share of rural poor was very low, and lending the rural poor continues to be considered as a risky by the banks, which is now no more. I will show you how it has been done. Solution is availability of credit at an affordable cost, effective credit delivery mechanism. Next slide. The objective has been, this is how it has happened, the evolution process. Starting from nationalization, rapid expansion of bank branches, RRBs, NABARD, all these had great impact on financial inclusion. Next. So NABARD had in fact enabled the SHG movement, the growth in SHG movement, and it has acted as a catalyst. Then SERP has provided a great support structure to facilitate poverty reduction through social mobilization and improvement of livelihoods. And we have all the village level organizations, then cluster level federations, district level federations, and we have a workforce of nearly 35,000 people in the state. So we coordinate with the banks very closely, and regular meetings are being conducted. Next. So this bank linkage program is a key strategy, and by collaborating with all these banks regularly, we have made these women access credit and do take up a lot of activities. And if it can be seen, almost last year we stood first in the country with almost 30% of national share, which is a phenomenal achievement, and recovery rate is 99.5%. And that is the reason why banks are very keen. In fact, now this year they are in fact competing with each other, banks, to provide loans, looking at this recovery rate. Next slide. So this is the federation model which is there in AP. If you can see here, the corpus fund of these organizations, these village level federations, then cluster level federations, district federations, they have a saving of about 8,600 crores and corpus of about 10,716 crores. So all these village level federation, they strengthen SHGs, arrange lines of credit to SHGs, social actions, support activities, and marketing is supported by village level federations. Then cluster level federations, which we call Mandal Samakhyas, they support all these village organizations, and Jilla Samakhyas, which are district federations, they conduct market interference and insurance and job skills and development. Next slide. This is the status as of today. In fact, as I was telling you, AP has been a torchbearer in the country in implementation of these programs with the support of banks, and then 30%, as I was saying, national share and 99.5% recovery rate. And in figures, 8.64 lakh SHGs and 90 lakh SHG members cumulatively have leveraged about 1.5 lakh for crores SHG bank linkage for the last 9 years. Next slide. So this can be seen, ma'am. So this is 9 years, sir. If you can see, sir, then top 10 states, Andhra Pradesh stands first with 1,54,000 crores bank credit that has been bank advances that has been given to the these SHG women. Next slide. This is the last year, almost 34,000, which is a very good growth rate. You can see from 2021, 21,000. Now it is 34,192 crores. Next slide. And 98% outstandings benchmark that was given by NRLM was 75%, and AP was first with 98%. Next. The average credit which has been advanced to SHG is 5.31 lakh. So, which is again a very sizable amount. That means the amount should be good enough to take up some livelihood activity, which can sustain their livelihood and also generate additional income for the family, so that they come out of the poverty net. Next. So percentage of NPA, as I was telling, it is 99.5% recovery. That means only 0.5% NPA, and we stand first in the country with this amazing NPA rate. Next slide. So recently our DGM Finance was awarded in the workshop which was held at Varanasi, and he has been because he took part there, and state was recognized and he was awarded this certificate of appreciation. Next slide. So these have been the challenges which we have faced. One is that reducing rates of interest, because very high interest rates, at high interest rates, if they borrow, it will not help them in getting their additional income, and supporting them to utilize these funds in a proper manner for creation of sustainable livelihoods. So that also has been a challenge. And loan documentation process, whether it is a loan for 10,000 or whether it is a loan for 10 lakh or whether it is a loan for 50 lakh, the documentation process is same. So it would have 20 pages to be filled up. So they were having these problems. Then if they take loan of 20,000 or 30,000, and processing charges are charged by banks, it would also burden these women. So then there was this lack of rapport between SHG women and banks. Reluctance to sanction loans was one of the criteria to poor SHG women. All these challenges we had overcome. Next slide. By having real-time analytical reports through data sharing arrangement with partners. So with banks, we have been getting regular reports, and this we analyze with our bank linkage software, which we have developed at TCS, and we generate various MIS reports to see who exactly, how much credit has been extended to which group. Then banks, we have requested them to have applications in local language. Then we have our own TCS software, where we develop these process this household livelihood plans and micro credit plans, and then provide loans. Now we have an app with a village level functionary called VOA, Village Organization Assistant, at the grassroots level. We have around 28,000 such people. And when they go to the SHG women and they enter they get this prepared livelihood plan and enter into the app, then they go to the bank. Their loan is processed by the bank. So this kind of uniform practices, best practices are there in the field. So most of the women are encouraged to use this for livelihood only. And then state government has come up with many more schemes, like where the state government has entered into an MOU with MNC partners like Procter and Gamble, Reliance, and we have Nestle, with all this Amul, all these companies we have entered into an MOU, wherein these women are they can have retail shops, textile shops, and all these commodities are supplied at a lesser rate. And then they are also encouraged. We are also having MOUs with social enterprise organizations like GVK, He for International, and other organizations who give livelihood who interventions in the form of backyard poultry or some farm or non-farm activities. So all these are this kind of support capacity building is done by the SERP staff and also by our MOU partners. In fact, of late, we have recently entered into MOU with even NHAI, and then Amazon, Saheli, and Flipkart, NRLM has entered into MOU. We are onboarding many products which are made by the SHG women. So all these activities are being done. So with this, we are now able to access bank credit in a sizable manner for all these women. And banks also looking at the recovery rate, they are also coming forward. Next slide. Now, last year, one circular that was given by RBI had said that collateral, without any collateral, loans can be given up to 20 lakhs to SHG. And in state of AP, most of the banks came forward to give loans of 20 lakhs for SHGs. So this was that's the reason why you can see a rapid increase from 2021 and 21-22, the amount. One was, it was post-COVID period. Second was this circular also helped. And then SHG bank linkage became a major portfolio of many banks. In fact, more than SLBC meetings, that is state level bankers committee meetings, we have many subcommittee meetings, and most of the bankers visit now SERP head office regularly, saying that we have this scheme for your SHG women, and why don't you take this up, or we will take up this activity in particular, this area of your this geographical area, this activity will take up. So the scene has reversed from SERP office approaching banks. Now banks are approaching us. In fact, they are saying it appears you have entered into a this thing with MOA with SBI. Now Union Bank has come forward. So like that, this has been happening. So which is a welcome feature. And this year, July, last month, there has been again circular from RBI saying that collateral-free individual loans. So SHG collateral-free loan, the upper limit, it has been enhanced to 20 lakhs. At the same time, for enterprise setup, a 10 lakhs loan, collateral-free loan can be given to an individual SHG member. So this NRLM has entered into an MOU with SBI at GY level, and they have promised to take up this enterprise. They have given a target, and this target of 500 was given to AP to achieve by this December end, and we have already achieved the highest number of 125 up to August 15th. So that is also we are standing first in the country again there also. So this collateral-free individual loans has really worked well. Many banks are approaching us to give these loans to SHG women. Here, what we can, we are now convincing many SHG groups. We are having awareness programs. We are saying that their already enterprise which are there existing, they can become HOE, higher order enterprises. So second, then we had held many meetings with the banks, and we were successful in reducing the rate, getting the rates reduced from 13.5% to 9.5%. So most of the loans are given are extended at a lower rate of 9.5%. So this has had a great impact on the increase in bank loans, bank credit for the rural women. So today we see that the SHG women in AP, state of AP, are totally economically empowered and having a great say in their household. So that has been a very welcoming feature, and the entire credit goes to these women who are making use of this credit also, and turning this into very sustainable livelihoods. And a number of livelihoods, various livelihoods have been undertaken. Many of them, even though still a majority of them are agri-based, farm related or livestock related, but they are successful. So they are having a greater say in the income of the household. So this is the major outcome that has happened. I also thank the intervention from, there has been intervention from the highest level in the state by impressing upon bankers in SLBC meetings to reduce loans. So most of the banks have come forward. So 9.5% is for loans above 3 lakhs. In fact, some banks have lesser rate for less than 3 lakhs also, which is again a good feature. So with all this now, we are able to achieve the position of top number 1 in the country with a very good recovery rate of 99%. So 80% of the credit invested is into some livelihood activities. This is being regularly monitored by us, by our field staff, by capturing all the details in our apps. So this is in respect of bank linkage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This is I must say, this is a remarkable achievement in terms of you coming over the hurdles that we have been facing for the last 20 years and all, especially in optimizing the bank loans in the benefit of the beneficiaries. And there had been a predicament between the match between the demand from the beneficiary side and the bank's willingness to give. So that reluctance part has been overcome successfully. And the success of the stories is the 90%, 99% recovery, of which 80% are from the SSG. So it is a great thing that it speaks of its own outcome. If 99% recovery there means the people who have taken the loan or who have been facilitated to get the land by hand holding and other incentives and supports and help that you have provided through the activities that you have now innovatively, put in place. So this speaks of a great thing. But if one would like to know, I am very impressed with the way you overcome such a huge, activity, economic activity for benefit of the a large number of marginalized persons. Now, the only thing that one would like to know, see, having successfully provided the loan and recovered the loan, how would we assess the impact as to how much transformation it has brought in the life of the people? See, if I take loan, come what may, whether I'm successful or not, I may return it. But to say that I used the loan properly for the purpose it was given, and I've achieved this part of achievement I have accrued to, that is what speaks of the ultimate success. So what could be the impact of such, making easy loan accessibility and also recovery 99%? Between these, what is the transformation one could see visibly, that this is what in this process of loan sanctioning and loan recovery, this is what has happened as a success story?
Yes, sir. In fact, we have documented many success stories, and every district and every mandal has come up with this documentation. We have had some impact studies done by NGOs And this year, we are going to engage IRMA to make an impact assessment of livelihood activities that are taken up by after entering into MOU with various MNCs. So that is being taken up. Already we had 2 rounds of discussions with their team, and they are making an impact assessment this year. The very fact that the recovery rates are good, and at the time of initiation of the documentation process itself, we are making a household livelihood plan and Mandal credit plan, this MCPs. So we are at the field level, we are trying to encourage these women to stick to these plans. And secondly, for the groups of people who are there under this Chayuta beneficiaries. So out of this 70 lakh odd women who had access credit, about 25 lakh are coming under Chayuta scheme. There we are having a real-time monitoring system of capturing their livelihoods incomes periodically. So for retail, and an app has been developed. In fact, to analyze what is the kind of income they are able to generate. And the mandate that is given to us is to ensure at least a minimum additional income generation of 10,000 per month. So that is the target. Whereas in some activities, we are able to generate little less, maybe 4,000, 5,000. And some activities, we are having more than 15,000-20,000 rupees per month by taking up, by involving these women into these livelihood activities. But at the end of the day, our effort has been, is to ensure sustainable livelihoods with some additional income generation, and ensuring that these women stick to the livelihood plans. Certainly, some of them, in the beginning, the main this thing was to convert, to take the loans from these banks and use it for domestic needs. Essentially, it was either health or education or marriage purposes. But later on, once as the movement of SHG movement took deep roots in state of AP, now more and more women are turning into entrepreneurs. So that's a very welcoming feature.
Yeah, excellent. What is actually impressing me is that it's kind of a self-sustaining circle. You are helping the women to get the loan from the banks. They are taking loan, higher loan, repaying them 99.5%. So the banks are ready to give them. Yes. So it's kind of, rolling, the one leads to the other. And very nicely done. Your awareness creation and things, linkages, they really have been proving helpful. So excellent. I have no specific questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, with your permission, I'll make the next presentation. Project, and the main aim of the project was to turn all those food processing activities which are there in unorganized sector to turn them into organized sector. And it was a 5-year project and started last year. So next slide. The main the objective being to make them more organized and to provide market linkages to these people who are indulging in the mainly rural women, SHG group women, who are making these food products, to access bigger markets or wider markets, and then also provide credit linked grant with some kind of subsidy. So this was a very good scheme. And here AP Food Processing Agency was the nodal agency, and SERP is the implementing agency. And from their food processing agency, 35% project cost was given as a subsidy. And then from the PMFME, from the GOI, a seed capital of 40,000 for SHG member was given. So together, this enabled a lot of credit to the women who is engaged in food processing activities. So the credit link grant at 35% of project cost, and also this seed capital enabled all these women who are engaged in food processing activity to invest more into their regular activities and make it more organized and enable them to have a good sales. So all this support was done, whether it was in terms of accessing credit, secondly, giving them support through food processing ANC as to get their certifications, licenses. FSSAI certificate is the first step towards that, which would make the products made by the women accessible. Most of the women, SHG women, they make pickles, they make all this sweets and many food products which are locally sold, but they cannot be sold outside for the lack of these certifications. All this we had provided, all these trainings we had provided, all this support we had given them, and by way of strengthening branding and also marketing, an organized supply chain was made. Next slide. So as you can see, either existing food processing enterprise was identified or a new food processing enterprising was identified. 35% of the project cost was given as subsidy up to 10 lakhs, and then beneficiary contribution was 10%, bank loan 55%. A very good structure. So this would enable, this enabled many SHG women to opt for this scheme. And so we divided our activities into, one was into capacity building, then hand-holding support, marketing support, and financial assistance. And we also tried to provide wherever possible warehouse, cold storage, and packaging, primary processing facilities. And also our food processing agency came forward to give us a lot of support in getting these licenses. And then for some of these existing processing enterprise, food processing enterprise were elevated to HOE, higher order enterprise. For that, the eligibility was 18 to 54 and willingness to contribute 10% of project cost. So that also we have taken up many cases. In fact, we again, I'm happy to state that in PM-FME scheme, AP has been again the leader in the entire country, both in number of individual enterprise and as well as in HOE, higher order enterprise. Next slide. So 2021-22, we identified more than 9,791 units, and 7,597 were established. And for them, we gave 29.29 crores. 3 crores has been released at 40,000 per member as seed capital. So then there was also a credit, bank credit additionally that was provided to them. And then 2,000 members have been identified and the amount is to be released. So even though these people were identified, the amount is to be released. There are some technical difficulties which we will be doing. So even this 7,597 already established units have been making good progress. And then finance tracking is done through, we have a federation, by name Srinidhi. The MD of Srinidhi is sitting next to me, and they are a sister concern of SERP. They provide finance loans to all these SHG women. So that tracking is done of all these 7,597. We finance through Srinidhi. And for higher order enterprise, we went ahead with banks. So we are tracking them. And then for 22-23, we are targeting 10,000 units, and seed capital target amount is 40 crores. As on date, 5,549 have been uploaded. Next slide. So as can be seen, again here AP has been standing, already approved by the state nodal agency 7,600 units, and no other state could cross 1,000. So this is from Ministry of Food Processing Industry at GOI, their information as per their this thing. AP is market leader here. Next slide. So these were some of the challenges faced by both beneficiaries as well as SERP. Now, first to identify, even though the structure, the way this PMFME functions or works, yeah, that structure is very beautiful. 10% contribution beneficiary, 35% subsidy, 55% bank credit. In additionally, we have 40,000 seed capital. So this is even though this has been very good, but identifying units which are facing some challenges and mobilizing all these micro food processing beneficiaries was one of the challenge faced by our field level people. Then these industries were, these entrepreneurs were facing, beneficiaries were facing challenges. The main challenges were lack of access to modern technology or equipment, training, and access to institutional credit. I found some of them wanted to do oil extraction, but they are not having access to the modern technology, modern extraction machines. So we have taken up many such units this time. A lot of now people post-COVID are interested in consuming foods with some kind of nutrient values, and more and more people are now consuming edible oils which are just extracted by these small rotary kind of machines instead of oils which are processed, refined in the bigger units. So these small extraction machines were supplied to many of the PMFME beneficiaries. Then loan request applications were pending at banks.
Sorry for interruption, sir.
Yes.
Can you please conclude your presentation in 2 minutes, sir?
Yes. So many challenges were there. Lack of basic awareness was there, and then in quality control, they were not having certificates, and some technical problems we faced in Aadhaar duplication, like all this. There were some NPA in SHG groups. Next slide. So we overcome all these challenges by having awareness programs in PMFME scheme, and then grounding of higher order enterprise also was done by respective district DPMs and APMs. We organize some Dwakra bazaars and Saras exhibitions in the districts for providing market to all these products. And then now we have, as I was telling, we have made online. We have boarded many products, especially food products. Like we have famous Pootarekulu, a small sweet, finer sweet made in East Godavari district. So all such kind of Bandar Halwa, they are all having GSET certifications. All that have been now boarded into online. And then next slide. And then we had some innovations with our apps, and then we time to time we had data from Srinidhi DCB report was taken, and we replaced some of the members above aged, and all this was done. And PMFME website also was provided to all our DPME level and APM level functionaries to enable them to submit their documentation and all that, and approval of DLC in a quicker period of time. Next slide. So this is the process: identification of new or existing SHG, APM center member details in the NRLM site, and then state level committee gives the approvals, and then loan amount 60% share and state government share 40% is released, and this amount is released to Mandal Samakhya's. Next slide. So the outcome has been, you are seeing now 7,500 beneficiaries already grounded, and higher order enterprise also getting 35% from subsidy. So there has been a lot of success stories which can be seen in the slides coming. Next slide. So here you can see many of these activities that are done, making whether it is roti making, or whether it is oil extraction, or whether it is biscuit making, all these they have been doing quite well. Next slide. So the one success story which we had given to NRLM was a small sweets and bakery shop who were not able to make anything out of it, even though they were in the business for so many years. Now with this subsidy and with this seed capital, they are making more than 500 rupees every day. Next slide. So this is the beneficiary. She is quite happy. Next. So this is the FSSAI certificate given to them. Next. So these are chapati making units. Next. So these are pickles and papad units. Next. So pickles, you can see now nicely packed. Earlier they were not being done. They were being packed in a not a proper manner, where consumer preferences were very low for that. Next. Now this is millets. Now recently there has been a lot of emphasis on millets. Now 2023 being an international year of millets, we are focusing on millet promotion. Next. So this oil extraction unit, I was telling you, many of the people are willing to buy these oils, even at a higher rate than the oil which is refined and processed. And this comes, machinery comes at 3.5 lakh rupees, with that 35% subsidy, and 10% is the contribution, remaining 55% is bank loan. This beneficiary has been quite happy. Next. So noodles unit has been started in many places. Next. So this is a bakery in Kurnool. Next. So these are some of the success stories in PMFME. Again, I was putting it before the committee that AP used this beautiful scheme to at least make 10,000 entrepreneurs make use of all these facilities and turn their small activities into a sustainable livelihood. Success stories. Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, the PMFME is one of the well-conceived schemes to, develop the potentiality of the state and the need of the state in setting up units through micro food processing. And of course, the scheme is well conceived, is not enough unless it's implemented the way you are implementing it. You have been implementing very successfully in many areas, but some of the problems you have identified. This includes unit identification, quality control. How do you unit identification, what mechanism you have developed and what rationality you have adapted to unit identification, and quality control, what mechanism do you have in place. And the most important point is the objective of this micro level food processing. This is not only for income generation, but also it provides some kind of employment avenues for the locals. So how much, how many of these micro units that you set up or you supported have generated employment opportunities? How many people have got employment through this thing? And in terms of economic upliftment, what is the pre and post income generation level, and what is the gain is that? Can you reflect on that?
Yes, sir.
In that story.
Yeah, you can tell. You can come here. You can come here. Sir, in fact, some units, we had visited these units in East Godavari district. Now they are employing not less than 10 people. So it was very heartening to note that some women, who are into micro food processing, they are now employing about 10 people. That is good. You want to tell something?
And sir, whatever CEOs are said story, na street soup. That lady previously she earned only 500 rupees, sir. Now our income levels is 1,000 rupees per month, per day. So like that, in each and every unit, the income levels are increased. Whatever we showed all the stories, their income levels is 500 to 3,000 rupees, like that, sir. Even the employment is also, majority of the units, they hire 2 to 3 lady employees are working in that. Whenever they require the major activity or major what we call higher orders, no, at that time they hire the men people also. Even whoever working in that unit, they gave 300 rupees per wage compensation, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Actually, you have really implemented the project for the benefit, not just like a project, a routine project. So that's why it is giving dividends. I just want to know, curious, that you said 10,000 beneficiaries are there with the scheme. What is your plan for upgrading? I mean, making it larger. I mean, taking it to a larger base. That is number one. And number two question is that employment, which Mr. Panda was asking, how much employment generation has happened. So I understand 2 to 3 women are being employed. Are these SHG women or they are just women nearby?
Most of the women in AP are SHG women only.
Actually, they are all members. So you have got a very high rate of SHG enrollment.
Yes, ma'am. This 10,000, why we are limiting is the scheme designed ensures
So
that.
because of the 40 crore, because of the 40 crore grant.
So that is the amount limit is there.
That is the reason. But you can go. That has to come from Government of India, the grant.
That come from Government of India.
So that is why. Right, fine. Thank you very much.
Thank
Quite
you.
impressive.
Pension, people to receive benefit unduly. This has been the cardinal principle. So now the main thing is to all those deprived, destitutes, disadvantaged sections of the society are supposed to be provided this social security pension. But over a period of time in AP, we have started giving to many social sectors also. So the number of beneficiaries has gone up. It is not with only the number of beneficiaries or the amount that is being given, but the way it is being dispersed. That is what I would like to draw attention of the learned judges, that mainly the way it is dispersed, using technology and using a big workforce in the field. The state of AP has implemented for the last 3 years a scheme called establishing secretariats at village level. So in addition to village panchayats, we are having now what are called offices of secretariats in a village. Maybe some villages have 1 secretariat, some villages have 2, some villages have 3, on the basis of 1 secretariat for 2,000, 3,000 population, wherein various functionaries sit, some taking care of welfare, some taking care of engineering needs, some taking care of survey, some taking care of revenue. Like this, about 10 functionaries sit there, some taking care of agriculture. In addition to these functionaries who are government employees, we have deployed volunteers, about 2.5 lakh volunteers in the entire state, who are there for either 50 or 100 households. We are having 1 volunteer. So the disbursement methodology is unique in the sense that earlier pension was to be given at a panchayat office, and many old and infirm and physically challenged were made to stand in queue, and this process of disbursement used to take 3-4 days, and they had to stand for longer hours. Now the method is it is disbursed by deploying all these 2.6 lakh volunteers. So what is done by SERP is the SERP deploys technology and also this workforce, and the first day of the month these disbursement starts from 4 a.m. and by the end of the day more than 90% is disbursed in a single day. So which is phenomenal. The beneficiary need not get out of his house. He can stay in the house and the pension is delivered to him in cash. And technology is used by taking in a tab the beneficiary authentication, either Aadhaar. Wherever Aadhaar fails, we deploy Iris. Where both fail, we deploy the most modern technology, state-of-art technology called RBIS technology, real beneficiary identification by facial recognition methods. So this way, we are able to disperse more than 99.27% in less than 3 days, in a way which is most convenient to the beneficiary. So the method of disbursement deserves a lot of appreciation. So the objective has been to the overall process is beneficiary identification, processing of new application, validation, sanction, and all this has been done as per SLA. And then major objective is to roll out pension schemes for various categories, not only old age, not only for the widowers, not only for challenged, many categories like transgenders, health and medical pensions we are giving. We are giving to fishermen, we are giving to single women, we are giving to cobblers, traditional cobblers, we are giving to some artists called Dappu Kalakarlu. So all this is being done. So it is a doorstep service delivery that is done by the volunteers, which is a game changer in the present scenario. Next. Sir, this is the number of beneficiaries covered this month stand at 62 lakh and the amount disbursed is 1596 crores. So every month, all these 60 lakh odd beneficiaries they receive, and more than 1500 crores, almost 1600 crores is given as social security pension. So the amount of pension ranges from for old age 2,500 to 10,000 in some cases of CKDU, that is chronic kidney diseases. So all these categories we give pensions. Physically challenged are given 3,000. So old age we have about more than 30 lakh beneficiaries. Widows we are having more than 12 lakh. And then physically challenged, we have more than 7 lakh physically challenged, weavers 90,000, tardy tappers about 50,000. Like this, entire beneficiaries, we have about 62 lakh. Next. So the challenges has been integrating two different APIs as household data from one source and validation criteria. Because the beneficiary, the criteria of eligibility is very strictly defined, and there is a 6-step validation done. The 6-step validation ensures that the beneficiary of pension, passes through the 6 steps. The one is that there shall not be a government employee in the family. The second step is there shall not be a 4-wheeler in the family. The third step is they shall not have more than 10 acres of dry land or 3 acres of wetland. So like this, there are 6 steps. Their electricity consumption shall be less than 300 units per month. So they have to pass through 6 steps. So this validation is done by our software app deployed by GSWS department. And then all these are this data is pulled from various departments because land data has to be obtained from land revenue department. Vehicle data has to be obtained from transport department. So all this every month that is done in verification, and then this data mapping has to be done village ward secretariats. Now what we do is this 62 lakh are mapped to, now I have set 15,000 village and ward secretariats are there. So they are mapped to these secretariats, and then from secretariat level the pensioners are mapped to volunteers. So every volunteer will have 18 pensioners or 30 pensioners or 10 pensioners. Now SERP they transfer the money every month from the bank, their bank account to all these secretariats, 15,000 secretariats, and from there money is withdrawn and given to the pensioners a day before on 31st, and first morning they give it to the pensioner by deploying biometric authentication. So in a secure, transparent way, money disbursement, pension disbursement is done, and 2.6 lakh persons, volunteers are deployed, and from 7 to 9 p.m., 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., the disbursement is done, and the first day itself more than 90% disbursement is done. And then wherever biometric fails, we have other technologies used, IRIS and RBIS. Next. So these are some of the innovations. So that has been done, and the distribution being done at doorsteps, and then Aadhaar based, and then health pensions have been introduced. Like we have multi-deformity, leprosy, we have muscular dystrophy, paralysis, hemophilia. All these cases we are giving pensions, and then first aid itself more than 90% done. Next slide. So these are the outcomes. 17 categories of people are covered under YSR pension, and then fingerprint and iris authentication. So all mobile applications are deployed. Next. So these are some of the numbers you can see. So very huge number of people, they get social security pensions and various categories, as I was telling. So the eligibility, this is the eligibility criteria, and the 6-step validation that is done. Income tax payee shall not be, there shall not be a government employee, there shall not be 6 months average electricity consumption should be less than 300 units. They should not possess built up area in such and such 1,000 square feet in urban areas. So all these validations are done regularly. And second, pension in family is not allowed except in cases of disabled. So, and in a family, elderly person more than 60 years. So the pension age limit is 60 years. So beyond 60 is eligible for old age. So, and disabled also can get. So all this criteria is strictly deployed. Next slide. So validations are done on a real-time basis. Next.
Sorry for interruption, sir. Can you
Yeah.
please conclude your presentation in 2 minutes?
Then we have next. Internal and external interfaces. As I was telling you, GSWS, Sadaram is for physically challenged people. They have to have 40% deformity. In NSAP, National Social Assistance Program, we have 80% as the criteria, but the state has gone ahead with all those people physically challenged and having 40% deformity, they are eligible. And RTGS, real-time governance system. So all these databases, we use internal and external faces and then interfaces to make this disbursement happen in the best possible way. Next. So this is the architecture only just to show you how it has been done. Next. So this is the mobile application flow. So the user is a volunteer, then it displays pensioners information, Aadhaar authentication is done, and transaction details are entered. And all this is done on a regular basis, and list of pensioners for current month will be displayed in his app so that he knows how many people it has to be done. Next slide. So this facial recognition method is a latest technology which is being used by artificially intelligence-based RIMS framework, and almost every month about 1 lakh people, for 1 lakh people we use this. For many elderly people, the features on the hand are so bad that biometric authentication fails, and some of them patients, medical patients, are even iris fails. So for them we use this Arbis technology. Next. So these are the user schemes in Arbis. Next. So the achievements can be seen. So changes done in disbursement architecture and real-time basis, we are able to do all this. The robust technology is used. Next. So at the doorstep, it is given. So in fact, we have impressed upon our even Government of India functionaries also that many a time are maybe in these cases of social security pensions for elderly people and for the people who are suffering from many diseases, the delivery at doorstep is much better. Cash disbursement is better than DBT. Because the direct benefit transfer, whatever is done through banks. For all schemes in AP, for 99% it is DBT. Only for pension it is a door-to-door disbursement is done. This is found to be better mainly for sociological reasons, because an elderly person, if his his bank account is credited every month, he has to go to bank to withdraw, or he has to go to ATM center to withdraw. Many a time he sends his son or daughter-in-law goes and withdraws. He doesn't get that money. So by giving this door-to-door disbursement is done, many of the elderly people have they are able to live with dignity, social dignity, and they get respect they deserve in the home. And many physically challenged people, their needs are taken care, and that's a great, I think, feature, socially a recognizable thing. They are getting a lot of respect at home. So this many people have confessed. So this is all from my side. So the methodology of disbursement deserves all appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you, Imtiaz sir.
Yes, sir.
This is a very innovative way that you have adopted technology, especially to reach the unreachable and those who cannot have an easy access to the banking and other financial facilities because of their inability physically or otherwise. But you have put around 2.5 volunteers to do the job across the state.
Yes, sir.
And are these volunteers are paid something, honorarium types,
Yes, sir. They're paid 5,000 rupees honorarium
every month?
every month.
Okay.
They
So
are not
how much?
government employees. They are not.
But nonetheless, it will cost the exchequer.
Yes.
Okay, yes, sir. So what is the administrative cost alone for these volunteers for the annual cost?
Apart from this scheme, they are involved in many schemes. All the government schemes, they are supposed to take the beneficiary and bring their applications to the secretariat where they are processed. So there is a good administrative cost, nevertheless, but the interface between the government functionary and the beneficiary is removed totally.
This 5,000 rupees is not going from this budget of your,
No, not from us. It is going from the
entire all schemes across.
together.
Okay.
There is a department which is established to take care of secretariats and volunteers.
No, now this especially pension scheme, especially when you are talking about the disability eligibility, that you have 40% disability identification in the state level, whereas the center is 60 under NSAP.
NSAP it is 80% is the
80%, 80%.
80% is the degree of disability which gives them
Eligibility.
eligible, which makes them eligible. But the amount of pension under NSAP, Indira Gandhi pension scheme for old age, it's only hardly 300 rupees.
No. My concern is that you see, we are that why shouldn't we have a uniform pattern across the state and center? Because the objective is same, that we should cover the people who need it rather than what conditions they are and depending upon the conditions which we decide. So that is another problem, but that's a larger issue. But anyway, this scheme, as I understand, is essentially you have developed a very, very effective method in dispersing the pension and other benefits to the person at his doorstep. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir. Only pension, sir. All
Only-
other schemes, it is DBT.
No, I mean only pension under this scheme.
Only pension we are disbursing door to door. And
Yeah, right. When the volunteer takes the money and goes and visits the beneficiary, is there someone else who also accompanies him, or he alone goes and pays the money?
he alone goes, sir. But
So
it is
how do we ensure that he gets the funds that is sent to him? There is any mechanism there that for sure the beneficiary gets the amount due to him?
because it is biometric authentication, sir.
No, that is okay. But the amount,
Again, because he puts only authentication on receiving entire amount only.
no, because most of the people, old people, they may not be in a position, they could be illiterate, they cannot, not good at the sight, and many other impediments are there. So
Yes, sir.
in given that adversities, a beneficiary may not be able to vouch correctly as to how much money he gets and how much he is entitled. How do we resolve this?
Sir, the advantage of door-to-door delivery is The household, entire household knows that morning 6 baje, this volunteer will come and give. So they will be waiting for this. So
कोई ना कोई होगा जो कि वो
definitely होगा. Yes, sir.
हाँ वो भी देख लेंगे, वही जानना तो क्योंकि okay, thank you good. I mean, I hope this method that you develop is also adapted by NSAP across the state and all states in their own state level schemes, so that they don't have to reinvent the wheel again. Okay,
Thank you.
This is all right. Delivery at the doorstep and the people do get it. That is fine. But what about I'm really concerned about the administrative cost, because anyway, there is a Gram Panchayat already there. Okay. So by adding another 10 functionaries in the village secretariat, are you not duplicating the work done by the Panchayat level people? Because there is a VLA, village level assistant at the Panchayat who is supposed to be doing this disbursement of the pensions. The central government pension, the Indira Gandhi old age pension or handicapped and the widow pension, all that. By putting these 10 extra people, what other thing they are doing?
All 10 are doing different kinds of things, ma'am. One is called village agriculture assistant. He is supposed to take care of only agriculture needs.
That's all right, but there is a village agriculture assistant or VLA or whatever name they call in different states. There at the Panchayat level posted.
At Panchayat level, the functionaries are now less. Mandal level, we are having more at the block level. But these 10 people, they supplement the work. They supplement the work being done by the Panchayat, and also in cases, they also do additional work. Like we have a VRO for the village, entire village revenue officer. For every village we have. Now there is another VRO created in this secretariat. So he is given a set of work by the Tahsildar. He says you look after only these accounts, and this VRO will take care of this. So they divide the work themselves. So these people supplement the work.
Basically, the question is you are having, say, maybe, I mean, normally in a Panchayat office, there will be about 3 to 5 people employed by the government.
Yes, sir.
Right. The one is a Patwari or Lekhadar, Patidar, whatever you may call, or you call a village revenue officer, whatever name. The names could be different. But one person looks after the revenue. One person looks after the agriculture, the village agriculture assistant or whatever name they call. So similarly, there is one as an extension worker.
There is one surveyor, there is one
extension worker who will go look. There is an ASHA worker for the health. So there are already some 5-6 people working at the village level, right? Also, the from NRLM also they do have somebody who coordinates with the SKOCH groups and their training and all that. So, but of course that is at the Panchayat level. But that means about 3 to 5 villages, or depending on the size. So these 10 people every village. Isn't it going to be overkill?
It certainly appears to be like that, ma'am, but it is working so well. There is an administrative cost is added, but now we have a Mahila police. So in addition to the police, there is a Mahila police who only takes care of. So like this.
That is all right. Yeah. That is all right. But the administrative cost, definitely the first few days you are delivering the pension, that's a very good thing. Fine. But the cost, if the administrative cost goes very high, then instead of getting it in 3 days, if they get it in 5 days, how does it really matter, frankly speaking? Because then the cycle will be 5th to 5th like that. So getting lot of people get their salary on 1st, lot of people get it on 28th or 30th of the previous month, and lot of people get their salary on 10th. So that kind of staggering is anyway there. So if less number of people, volunteers or whatever functionaries, when they are getting paid 5,000 rupees per month, they are not volunteers actually. So I think that cost has somebody done a cost benefit analysis? That's my only concern.
Yes.
Because having 10 people per village is a huge amount.
A huge amount, but they are taking governance to the doorstep of the people.
That's all right. But 10 people,
yes,
that is all right. What you are saying is perfectly correct. But has somebody done a cost benefit analysis that having that extra cost is it worth the service? Or instead of getting in 3 days, the first 3 days you are giving it, instead of giving in first 3 days, if you make a cycle that, okay, these are the people who will get in the first 3 days, these are the people who will get the next 6 days, next 3 days, like that. And less number of people could still deliver. I mean, that's my thing. And then the cycle becomes like that. Instead of getting their pension on 1st, they will be getting on 5th of every month. Or instead of getting on 5th, they will be getting on 10th every month. So the cycle will continue.
So that is there, ma'am. But that department has got some studies done, and some of these secretariats have issued a lot of appreciation from visiting from all of the
What
people.
you're saying is perfectly correct. Appreciation is also
It is,
good.
it is an
But
administrative cost
what
as well.
about the financial benefits? Like the cost, I mean, exact in the return on investment or cost benefit analysis, whatever name you call it, a study needs to be done to see whether it is having that kind of effect as it is supposed to be.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That study needs to be done.
You're right, ma'am.
Because we do have a saying that if you put more ghee or more sugar in a sweet dish, it will become better.
Yes.
But is it worth that better? That's the point.
Yes, ma'am. Noted. Thank you.
Nancharaya. This is Nancharaya, Managing Director, Srinidhi Credit Cooperative Federation. Actually, I am a banker having a banking experience of 40 years. Main Srinidhi concept is in the backdrop of microfinance crisis of the state, the Mandal Samakhyas promoted by SERP in association with the Andhra Pradesh government have established the Srinidhi Credit Cooperative Federation Limited on 7/9/2011, which was registered as Apex Level Federation in independent organization under the AP Cooperative Societies Act 1964 for financing self-help groups. As per the provisions of the AP Reorganizations Act 2014, Srinidhi was bifurcated to Srinidhi Telangana and Srinidhi Andhra Pradesh separately. Basically, Srinidhi is a sister concern of the SERP. It works under the platform of the SERP. Slide 2. Srinidhi operates in rural and tribal areas as well.
Srinidhi operates under what?
Under the platform of SERP, sir. It is the sister concern of the SERP, sir.
Sir. Achha.
Yeah. It operates in rural areas and tribal areas and urban areas with the objective of providing livelihood loans to the poor SHG women in a transparent and easily accessible manner through SHG federations registered under the AP Societies Act. Srinidhi has completed 10 years of its existence, sir. It is a low-cost, hassle-free, and self-sustainable model, sir. Since inception, it is earning profits and incurring overheads on its own funds. Srinidhi has 17 representatives from SHG federations, along with 3 government nominees: Secretary Rural Development, Secretary Institutional Finance, Register of Cooperatives on its board, and government appointed managing director from banking sector to look after the operations. Covering 10,56,000 groups with a 1 crore 8 lakh SHG members in rural and urban areas of state federated into 28,390 392 views, sir. So far covered, Srinidhi has covered 38.79 lakhs members and 5.90 lakhs SAGs with the amount of 12,319.97 crores, sir. Converted as livelihood finance organizations in 2017, now and disbursed loans to 124 livelihood activities, an amount of 9,680 crores to 24 lakhs 79,000 members, sir.
Sir, in fact, Srinidhi is a federation which provides financial assistance to only SHG women. And they access finance from 10 banks at a low rate and give it to SHG women at an interest ranging from 9 to 11%, and then make profit on it. And the beauty of this organization is that one is that they have hardly 100 employees across the state. But last year they have provided 2,200 crores finance to SHG members, so which is phenomenal. And our staff are utilized. So Srinidhi and Surf, they work in tandem, and the village functionaries of the VOS who are from village organizations, they do all the documentation and they take it to the SHG, the Srinidhi bank. And Srinidhi also deploys the software which is developed by TCS, and within 48 hours, this loan is given. So earlier, the amount of loan was around only 25,000. Now it has been been enhanced to 1 lakh. So the SHG women at in any village, if they want to buy a cow or buffalo, they can do it in 3-4 days. They can get the loan from Srinidhi. Just 48 hours is the maximum time that is taken by them in giving loan. So our VOS only work, our CCs also help Srinidhi. So Srinidhi, in fact, their offices, head office is in our office only, but it is registered as again a society, and the federation has many board members, and share capital is taken from them. And this year their target is 3,000 crores. So a phenomenal performance by an organization deploying just 100 odd people in the state, utilizing the network of SERP. And recovery also is done by these VOAs, and every year Srinidhi gives them incentives in the form of incentives. Around 10 to 12 crores is given every year to all these village level functionaries for doing all this documentation.
Sir, actually Srinidhi is a unique organization, sir, which was started in Andhra Pradesh, erstwhile Andhra Pradesh, nowhere across the country. Only Andhra Pradesh has started this type of organization to overcome the microfinance problems. Microfinance problems, sir. It's a self-sustained organization, sir. We don't have any grants and etc. from the government. We take the bulk finance from the nationalized banks, and we will extend the same to the retail, to our beneficiaries with low cost. At the same time, we will sanction within 48 hours. At the same time, we will take we are doing a digital mechanism from starting from beneficiary level. We will take the biometric from entire thing. The application will come to the head office within 24 hours through IT platform only, sir. That is the beauty of this product, sir. Nearly we are taking so many government sponsored programs. Our respected our CEO sir has attached so many schemes to our Srinidhi for smoothening the credit and repayment, taking the repayments also from the beneficiaries, sir. at the same time, every year we are disbursing the incentives to what our CEO has explained, sir, dividend and incentives to the VOAs every year, sir. We are giving 7% dividend to the shareholders. This is the one of the organization which is getting profits, sir, in cooperative sector. It's one of the Srinidhi is the one of the
Apex Credit Cooperative.
Apex Cooperative Society in Andhra Pradesh, sir. At the same time, we are having simple mechanism. At the same time, we will go to the needy person. We are giving different types of activities. At the same time, we are taking up the different activities, sir. Agriculture, dairy, sheep and goat, whatnot, everything, what they need. It's at the same time, we are making tailor-made products also to the needy women, sir. Entire thing is goes to the only SHG beneficiaries only. This is the main thing of that thing, sir. We are last year we have introduced the biometric to avoid misappropriations, all these things. In grassroots level, whoever wants the loan, they have to give the biometric with Aadhaar based. Based on that, automatically it comes to the different 4 levels. Finally, we will sanction within 48 hours, sir. That we are doing, sir.
Sorry, sir, for interruption.
Yeah.
Sir, can you please conclude your presentation in 2 to 3 minutes?
Yeah.
So the existing database of SERP is used by them, and mainly the software, as I was telling, the bank linkage software also, which is used by us, has biometric authentication of the member beneficiary who is taking. That is the basis of the basis for extending loan. Why this is taken is earlier SHG Group itself was financed by the banks, Gitato, and many of the members were unaware of what has been taken and how much is their credit. They were just taking whatever that was given by the group leader. But now it is not so. It is the biometric authentication. All the applications are processed. So every member knows how much advance is made. Same software is being used by Srinidhi to ensure that it is not misappropriated. It goes to the correct beneficiary, and also there is no foul play made by the persons who are processing, like our VOAs who are processing. There have been some in the past, some reports of these functionaries, processing the documentation and giving the amount of loan, discounting some for their, this thing at their level. So all these are avoided now by using the application with biometric as the basis.
Finally, sir, the recovery rate is 99%, sir. At the same time, every year we will audit our cooperative from our cooperative department and statutory auditors. In addition to that, we will take the big rating agency from BRIC rating, sir. BRIC rating agency, we are taking the rating, sir. Every year we are getting the A+ rating from BRIC rating, sir. Based on the BRIC rating only, the financial institutions is extending the credit in bulk to our society, our Srinidhi, sir. Finally, this year we are going for 4,000 crores. Our target is to give up to 4,000 crores of rupees to the SHG beneficiaries, sir. That is our future plans, sir. 4,000 crores planned for lending to 8 lakh SHG members, enhancement of member credit, digitalization based on the updated technology, sir, to finance Cheyuta beneficiaries. It's a AP government scheme, sir, up to 1 lakh to individual borrowers, to finance the FPO farmers through SHG women, to support the farmers and zero budget ZBNF through SHG women, sir.
pension. Thank you.
That is our future roadmap, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all, sir. Jai Hind, sir.
Yeah, I understood the whole scheme of affairs that you have.
Yeah.
But one thing which bothers me, rather which intrigues me,
Yeah.
as to how many such activities and agencies that you provide low-cost credit in Andhra Pradesh. And there are so many of them, so many ways they do that, the same thing, with the same objective. So,
No, sir.
no, you mean there is no other low-cost giving credit agents credit in Andhra Pradesh?
No, sir. No, our SHG women, we have 4 ways of financing them, sir. One is through their internal savings we encourage. The second is
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
That's what, whichever way you follow.
yeah,
Ultimately,
bank-
you give low credit,
Yes.
low cost credit, isn't it?
Yes.
So you have so many small variations in various ways you deal with that. Why don't you put together, and it is always in a development planning process that you do not have thinly spread out schemes with one activity different from the other, while the overall objective remains the same. So why don't you put all the such activities in one place and resolve the differences in an amicable way and see that it is a robust scheme implemented across the state in an integrated and inclusive way?
Yes, we are working on it, sir. In fact, to bring together, bringing together that networking would help, and definitely it would be good. But the beneficiaries, women beneficiaries, are into all these activities at micro level, like whether she is running a tiffin center or whether she is making agro-based machinery they buy for their farming activities.
That's the point which I am making. You got it rightly. Ultimately, you are reaching a woman beneficiary,
Yes, sir.
right, isn't it?
Yes.
So every scheme that are across the board, they all reach to the woman beneficiary.
Yes, sir.
With the same objective. That's what I'm suggesting, that you synchronize all these activities and see that a robust scheme develops and all the benefits will go to a woman without duplication or some kind of variance. So that's what my suggestion is.
Yes, sir. In fact, sir, if you permit, sir, I will just take 1 minute in explaining this, sir. There was a village recently visited by me, sir, where we are having many beneficiaries, women beneficiaries, different. They were into livestock and also into food processing. When I went and visited the village, it is called Tadikinapalli in Kurnool district. This village, the women, the population of the village is around 2,000. And all the women there, they are having about 400 buffaloes. Some in animal shed, they are having 200 buffaloes, and individually another 200 buffaloes are there. Entire milk is going to another 200 households. Some of them are having their own buffaloes also, and they are making palkova. Khova, which is a sweet made from milk, and entire thing is sent marketed in all the sweet shops in Kurnool and nearby towns, and it is a world famous khova which is made and which is tastier. So I visited and saw, and then I also talked to the district magistrate and the animal husbandry department. Now we are trying to evolve. We are trying to construct some animal shed in about 10 acres for all these 400 buffaloes in some place, and also trying to get marketing support for all these women who are more than 100 households who are engaged in this Palkova factory. So that kind of networking would, in fact, make definitely would enhance their income levels. So we will take it up that activity, sir. In fact, I suggested Srini, the MD, also to go there, visit that village and see and develop some package for them.
Okay, thank you. You must have listened to some of the presentation made earlier on the similar line. They have so many parallels to it. That's what the suggestion is. See, it's always in the interest of a good integrated convergent approach to have a good scheme. Then it could include a number of activities. Anyway, thanks. Great.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
What I understand is Srinidhi is acting as a platform for women to take loan, right?
Yeah.
So, and you said 9% interest rate for 9 to 36 months or so. Is it different from the bank loan?
The main difference is
So
they,
just now, Mr. Imtiaz has pointed out that they are also arranging loan from the banks at the rate of 9%. So if it is 9% from the banks directly and same 9% from you, so there is a competition between, and you are getting your money from the government to give loan, or you are also taking from the banks. Then where is your profit level?
they are sourcing their monies from bank only. Some financial institutions, they are sourcing about 10 main institutions are there from where they are getting these loans, and their interest rates at times are higher than banks also. 11% is what they actually
No,
give.
no, I'm not, just a minute. I'm not talking about financial institutions. I'm talking about the SG beneficiaries who are getting bank loan at the rate of 9%. That's what Mr. Imtiaz has just now in the previous presentation told us. So if it is 9% from the banks directly, and he is also providing support for local language paperwork and all that, why should the woman come to you if it is the same rate? I mean, what is the advantage? Number one. Number two is, where is your money coming for giving the loan to the woman?
The main advantage is immediate credit, because Srinidhi is identified with
Microfinance.
Srinidhi is identified with SERP. The credit is given immediately. Number one. Number two is that additional loan is given. They from bank they have taken. So here the bank can give at only a certain amount of money.
So
20
this,
lakhs for the SH.
so this is the second. This is the second loan for the
line
people.
of credit. Second line of credit. In addition to what has been
Okay, in that case, again, I'm even more curious that they have exhausted the bank loan, and they are taking another set of loan from you, and still because the bank loan, what the previous presentation told us, when the SERP and bank linkage or SLG bank linkage, there the loan repayment recovery rate was 99.5%. You are saying that your recovery rate is 99%. So, and the tenure remaining more or less same, and nowhere we have found that the income through these activities have gone more than 10 to 15,000 per month. Some of the economics is not, I mean, the mathematics is not tallying together.
Yes. So, ma'am, here the amount of finance which is given by these people, he was around 50,000 additional loan given to most of the women beneficiaries. Now it has been enhanced to 1 lakh per member, because we have taken up these schemes like livelihood schemes with MNCs. So where we have requested their board members to enhance the limit to 1 lakh, which they have agreed to, and they are going to give 1 lakh this year onwards. So earlier 50,000 was given for livestock or other activities. Apart from bank loan, they were taking from Srinidhi, because Srinidhi, there is no, they hardly have any bank or any office. SERP office is the office for them. And
you're not getting the point.
Yes.
Sorry, what I'm trying to say, I'm talking about the repayment.
Repayment, yes, ma'am.
In all the three schemes which have been talked about in the morning, the woman's income has gone by is about 10 to 15 to 20,000 per month. Okay, and they have to repay both the bank loan as well as Srinidhi loan.
Yes.
And they are doing it in the almost 99.5%, almost 100% repayment is there. So where is the money coming from for repaying? Because the income hasn't gone up more than 10,000 per month, 10 to 15,000 per month. So if with that money, how are they repaying so much of loan back in say 9 to 30 months? I'm worried about that. So where is the income coming from?
No, this is there. Whatever 10,000, 15,000 is an additional income. So whatever income that was generated by their regular activities, so these interventions have helped them increase their income. So at times, in some cases, it has increased by more than 10,000. Some cases, it has been increased by 15,000. So this is one activity they take up. The other activities also parallelly would be going on in the their household. So women themselves making.
Okay, I get it now. Now, in this scenario, it is more imperative for you to take Mr. Panda's suggestion to integrate everything together. There should be a single platform. you are talking about 2 or 3 activities.
Yes.
You know, and one activity from your money, one activity from the bank money and all that. So they should be put together so that there is a consolidated platform for everything to come together. Because frankly speaking, a person, yes, it's okay for us to suggest that they can take up so chicken farming, they can take up the bamboo products, artisan and all that. But when you come together, a household will be able to do so much.
Yes.
So by saying that we can take, maybe if it is a periodic employment, that's a fine thing. But you cannot do everything together. And poultry farming or buffalo or cow, the cow sheds having 2,000 buffaloes and milk products and all that, doing koya and all that, they are all full-time jobs. They cannot be done simultaneously. So somewhere somebody has to integrate and put them into a single platform rather than having different things. And in view of what you said, Mr. Panda's suggestion is much more relevant.
Relevant. Yes, ma'am. That's what we are working. We are trying to integrate now.
Okay,
Wherever
thank
possible.
Imtiaz Saab, ऐसा है, I mean, this way that you see, your scheme, Srinidhi, is the pioneer scheme, isn't it, sir?
Yes, yes.
This is the pioneer scheme, a standalone scheme, I mean, in Andhra Pradesh. Now that has a credit and a viability to subsume rest of these schemes under it, so that you can take control of the entire thing under Srinidhi, and whatever little variances or differences are that could be resolved amicably, so that you can implement a very focused way across the activities that we want to support. I mean, that's what I would like to share with you as a suggestion.
Noted, sir. Yes.
Okay, sir. Noted.
Sir, in fact, thank you, sir.